In this video, I'm going to explain how to create a basic mission if you are fishing 3 or 4 rods at one time. Now, I have previously explained or have a video out that it shows how to create a mission for each rod that you're using. That is a complete mission where the destination waypoint is marked, an instruction to hold for a moment and then to deploy the bait and then to move to a rally point and then to return to a point close to the beach. If you didn't want to do that, if it was perhaps too complicated to do for each of 4 rods, this might be simpler for you to do. If you look at the mission that I've created, you'll see that there's a takeoff point which is in the water ahead of you, and then I've marked 4 waypoints which are roughly 50 meters apart. Now, during normal operation, if I were to engage auto sail mode and only have the mission as you see it here, the boat would sail from the launch point to 2, turn right, and then through 3, through 4, and through 5, where it would eventually stop at being the last waypoint on the mission. That's not really going to help you with this. So what you want is you want a feature or facility whereby when it arrives at 2, the boat must stop for a while. You can make that as long as you like, but let's say we made it 20 seconds. When it arrives at waypoint 2, the boat would stop. During that 20 seconds, you can tension your line, you can deploy the bait, disengage the autopilot, move the boat to one side, or sail it to one side, and then engage RTL so that you avoided the other lines. Now, you would have to do that on each waypoint, and it's very, very simple to do. You simply, by touching on the waypoint, so we're on 2, tick that box which says hold, give it a 20-second delay or 20-second hold delay. You'll see that having done that, the second waypoint after number 2 became 4. So you'll see the numbers change as you qualify those waypoints. If I move now onto 4, the next one is 5, but you'll see that it will change. If I do the same thing on waypoint 4, which is the second waypoint, click there, and then I put in it's got a 20-second, I've already got a whole 20-second hold. You'll see that the next number now changed from 5 to 6. But nonetheless, you do the same on each one. You click there, you click there, you add your 20 seconds, and now you'll see that the one behind it has now changed to 8. Go there, click there, click there. All right, 20 seconds, done. All right, so the waypoints are now 2, 4, 6, and 8. How you would use this effectively would be, let's say you've now placed these 4 baits in those positions, and you wanted to place, or you wanted to replace line the third rod, which is marked waypoint 6. By touching on it like that, and then engaging auto sail, the boat would sail straight from wherever you launched it. Now, ideally, you would launch it in front of the rod. You don't go to the point where you first launched, which is also the home coordinate or the home point. You basically go and place the boat in front of the rod that you're trying to replace, or the line you're trying to replace, and then touch on the waypoint you want the boat to sail to, and it will then sail straight out from in front of the rod to the waypoint that you highlighted. At that point, it will stop for the 20 seconds, allow you, as I said, to deploy the bait and then to disengage the autopilot. Okay, that's all very nice. On the 5th one, it would in any case, on the 4th waypoint, if I went there, which is now waypoint 8, and I put the boat in front of the rod, sailed out to point 8, when it got to 8, it would stop, but it would actually permanently stop there, because that would essentially be the end of the mission. But there's something else I want to show you that you can do that could make this more convenient. You can create an additional waypoint. So just make sure that on the left-hand side of the screen, the waypoint marker is highlighted. What you can do is you can create another waypoint there, another waypoint there, and another waypoint there. You can bring this one closer, this a little closer, that a little closer. Now, the idea being that if I marked and I want to replace the second rod, so I highlighted it like that, it would sail from the launch point, or from where you launch the boat in front of the rod, in front of rod 2. It would sail out to that waypoint, it would skip to, and during the time after you've deployed the bait and done what you wanted to do, by simply touching on 10, like that, the boat would then sail to this waypoint, which is away from all of the lines, turn left, sail to 11, which would then bring the boat back on the side of all of the lines. And similarly, let's say for example it was on 5. If I highlighted 5, or sorry, should I say waypoint 4, which is number 8 now, the boat would, after it stopped and you deployed the bait, if you simply touch on 10, it would then sail from 8 to 10 and then continue to 11 and through. I see I've got an extra one here, I don't need that one, take that off. But let's bring 12 closer. Okay, you can bring it up right near the beach. And that is where the boat will eventually stop, and you can then take over control and set it in manually or activate RTL for a little while. So that is the way that you would use this. But remember, so the important part is to highlight the waypoint you want the boat to sail to, and soon after you've deployed the bait and you're satisfied that it's off the boat, then simply always touch 10. It will then sail from there to 10, onto 11, and then onto 12, which will be back at the beach or very near the beach, where you can then take over control. Just as with any other mission that you have created, this mission can be saved. So if you're fishing the exact same spot tomorrow, you can obviously recall this particular mission, and if you've got little sticks or stones or something that you mark the spots where your rods were exactly, then you can use this exact mission again. Now obviously once you've created the mission, you are required to upload it. So complete as it is now with the holes programmed in on the 4 destination waypoints, and with the additional waypoints added for the return path, simply click on upload, and that mission is now loaded to the boat. You could have created this mission by sailing the boat out and using the waypoint marker on the boat. So let's say you have a fish finder and you find a channel, a deep gully, and you wanted to have all of your 4 rods along that gully at the same distance out. Then you can do that, as I say, using the waypoint marker on the remote. And then if you would power down or reboot the boat, it would then load the 4 waypoints that you have saved using the remote, and you can then edit those, adding the hold and the additional return path waypoints. Okay, so just to clarify, to get the distance from one waypoint to the next, just click on the 1. So basically when I click on 4, which is rod 2, it's going to tell me the distance from 4 to 2. So that distance is 48 meters. If I touch on 6, so there we go, sorry, 6. If I touch on 6, it's 54 meters from 6 to 4, and the last one is 55 meters. So each time you highlight the waypoint, it tells you the distance from the previous waypoint. The actual distance out, you can go like this. So let's go to number 2. So number 2, the distance out is 336 meters, which you can see on the center of the screen. On top, tells you how far it is from the launch point to that first waypoint. And then obviously from each waypoint to the next waypoint, you can see, as I've just shown you. If you want the total mission distance, go like that. That is a 1074, which is slightly on the right. On the top, shows you that the total distance for that mission is 1074 meters. And meters are very close to yards, 3 inches less for a yard compared to a meter. I hope this video is helpful and increases your enjoyment of your aquacat. And please forgive the fact that I created the mission directly over some rocks near the shore. The video is more about showing how to create the mission than the position that I used.